Hey guys, welcome back to Get Motivated and Fit TV. If you're new to the channel, the concept behind Get Motivated is to get more out of life. So in today's video, what I want to talk about is, I got to backtrack, right? I got to go back in time, let y'all know, because I'm always preaching about personal development, wanting to get more, bettering yourself, whether that's, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, your finances, your spiritual, your physical, right, your health being. So, let me go ahead and let me go back into time, so to speak, and let y'all know how my life was at that time and the conversation that I had with this individual that I met at the gym that like changed my mindset and changed my perspective on life. And that's what really did it for me, right? So before, I want to say when I was, man, I think what, 22, 23 years old. Yeah, about 10 years back. I had just got out of my divorce. So at that time, right, I was still going through, I was still trying to find me. I had a poor mindset. I remember instead of being at the house, I wanted to go out. I did do that, even though I said that I wanted to focus on church. Like I still went out. I still went out to the bars. I still went out to the clubs. I was bar hopping, and at that time, right, I had that image of, or that vision of like, oh, I need to pull up with females, right? And there I am spending my money, with them, buying them drinks, buying myself drinks, and it was just a waste, literally. Looking back at it now, I'm like, man, what was I thinking? Like, seriously, you know. And I remember I was going through the struggle. I remember my my truck getting broken into. I remember my car. They attempted to break into it, and it was just one thing after another, running out of gas. And again, right, like had I had the mindset that I have now, had I learned the discipline on how to be with my money, like I think I wouldn't have done those mistakes then. But it's like that saying, we live and we learn. And it wasn't until, again, right, that was when I was 22, 23. Fast forward, I want to say maybe I was 31, 32. When I'm finally starting, going to the gym. I met this individual. What I will say about him is he's an entrepreneur. He's a businessman. He knows, he knows the real estate. He has his own business. He does repo. And so he made me, when the conversation that we had, like, it was just like, again, right, I had a poor mindset. So the things that he was asking me, you know during the questions he was asking me, like, made me feel like shit. And it made me like, oh crap, like I thought I had it all, and clearly, like, no, I don't. This was my reality check at 31, 32 years old, right? So the questions that he was asking me was like, hey, do you work? I'm like, yeah. Okay. Do you have kids? I'm like, yeah, I got two. Okay. Do you have this much saved up? I'm like, no. And once he said that, I'm like, crap, like, I think I know what he's gonna get into, right? And it's like, okay, well, I mean, if you work and you have kids, like, what happens in the event there's like an emergency, and like, where are you gonna get that money from? It's like, are you gonna get a loan? What if you can't get approved? And he just started asking me these questions, and I'm like, wow. And he started like, he goes, let me ask you this. He goes, he's like, do you have a house? I'm like, no, like, not yet. He's like, okay, so you rent? I'm like, yeah, I got roommates. And I was like, okay. He goes, so, and then again, right, like, just those questions, like, man, they're kind of like, hey, they're getting a little too personal. But it's because he was wanting to see my mindset. And I mean, shit, if it wasn't for that conversation, like, I really don't think I'd be where I'm at now, honestly. And so he gave me this scenario. He goes, there's two types of people. There's one that just sits there and waits for things to come his way. He waits for that opportunity, he waits for that job, he waits for that promotion. But then there's that other individual that, you know what, he's going to get up every morning. He's going to go out there. He's going to get in front of people. He's going to go out there and make some deals. He's going to get out of his comfort zone. And no matter how many times he falls, he's going to get right back up and he's going to, find a way to make it happen, right? And he goes, and before you can answer me, he goes, I can already tell you which person you are. And man, the look on my face was just like, yeah, man. And he's like, look, he goes, the stuff that I tell you, he's like, I do that on the side. He goes, I'm a life coach and I charge $100 an hour. So in my mind, I'm like, crap, like, well, am I gonna get $100 for this conversation that we had, right? But he really made me think. He made me think that I gotta change up my mindset because I thought I was good, right? I had the job, I had my health, I paid off the bills, but looking back at it now, I was living that how Rich Dad Poor Dad calls it, the rat race, right? I'm like working, paying bills, working, paying bills, just barely getting by, right? So, I mean, I gotta thank him for having that conversation with me because like he really opened up my eyes and like made me like he broke me down. He broke me down. I was like, holy crap, like yeah, it was bad, right? Because I'm like, shit, I'm in my what 30s, and I'm like, I don't got my shit together. Like, yeah, and there's a lot of people now, they're young, they're on that right track. They're on the right track of like becoming something, making something out of nothing. But like I said, man, this life, if I would ask you a question, or if I would ask you, like, hey, answer this, life is blank. You fill in that blank. Everybody has their perspective, everybody has their view in life, right? Like, life is a journey, life is a test, life is a challenge, life is, a struggle, life is beautiful, it's all up to you. And, it's up to us how we make that life, right? No matter what we're going through, no matter how we're feeling, it's on us to make it happen, right? But again, it has to start up here. I was stuck with that poor mindset. Like I said, right, going back, 10, 12 years back, man, I was living that fast life, so to speak, right? Going out, bar hopping, showing up with female friends and buying them their drinks, and it was just like, wow. And looking back at it now, like with my mindset that I have now, man, I tell myself, man, all that money that I spent back then, if I would have learned about investments back then, look, how much money I would have now. Like, that's just, uh, I'm sure there's somebody out there that either you yourself, you're going through that, or somebody, right? Somebody that's, going through that right now, and you're there trying to like, that's not the way to go. That's not the lifestyle you want. And I had to go through it back then, right? I had to go through what I went through to finally, I had that what you call a Jesus moment, where eventually I'll tell you on my testimony as well. And it's just, like I said, it was an eye opener. And I will say this: it involved with me, losing control of my car, and I could have died, but I walked away with no injuries. And again, right, because I was out, it was like we went out to a show. Afterwards, we went out to Denny's, and then on my way home, I'm there not thinking anything of. I knew it was cold, but I didn't think anything about the black ice, and I was hitting that curb, on the highway, and I spun out of control. And that moment, I'm the direction of travel is this way. My car turned around, so now I'm facing oncoming traffic. All it takes is for that next car to come, hit me head on. So yeah, like it's crazy. Like that was. I mean, I can't thank, no one but God, because I could have died that night. I could have, yeah, I lost the car. It was a total loss. But at that point too, it was just like, something has to change, right? But I still didn't, I still had that poor mindset, but thank you for watching. If this moves you, if this connects with you, like this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one.